Hello everybody, I'm back. Welcome to Crafting and Cruising. I'm Lisa. I got on this morning and worked on my painting for you do. Which is here. I am going to take my sister Kimberly's suggestion and sand down the guy a little bit, the praying hands guy, and then maybe wax over it. But sorry, somebody keeps sending messages. I love how the molding clay turned out, molding paste, and the diamond dust. So when you get on, please say hello. I hope you'll spread the joy of crafting and S-P-R-E-A-D this out. It's the same thing as S-H-A-R-E. And when you get on, let me know you're here. And if you watch the replay, please hashtag replay. We, if you don't know, are camping at Lock A in Ashland City, Tennessee with our friends, the Bloodgoods, and having a great time. The weather could not be better, so we're excited. While we're waiting for some people to get on, this is the golden molding paste that I used this morning. I love using this because it gives everything dimension. Makes feathers really pretty, angel wings, clouds, anything you want to snow on trees that you paint, or mixed media. So that's what this is. I can't see who's on, but whoever it is, hello, and thank you for joining. So this is the molding paste by Golden. And then I used diamond dust on the wings. And before I start this, I want to show you, this is part of the process of this tray I'm going to do this afternoon. When I went to vintageretailtherapy.com, well, I went to Mara, is the owner, and I went to her store in California. She has everything under the sun, so much beautiful and fun stuff. One thing that she showed us were these rub-on pigments, and I only got 3 colors, but here's the color I got. This is ruby, this is brass, and this is king blue. And they're powders. A little tiny bit goes a long way, so you don't need a lot. Let me open this one and show you, for example. Isn't that gorgeous? Now the way that you apply these is, and they're by Pentart, the way you apply them is by first putting down dipping paint by Pentart, and it only comes in black, at least right now. So for those pigments, those rub-on pigments to stick, you have to have a layer of this Pentart dipping paint in black. Once it dries, preferably naturally, but if you have to use a heat tool, you can. Then you open one of the pigments and you just dip your finger in the top, hey Rodney, or down inside and get just a little bit of pigment on your finger, and then you rub it. So I did this little metal tin, just, I was experimenting because I hadn't used it before, so it's not a great job, you can tell. But I put the black down, and then after it dried, I rubbed over it with this yummy red. I think it's going to be gorgeous at Christmas to use on things. So on the tray that I'm going to be doing my inlay in, I went around the rim and put 2 coats of this black dipping paint. This is just a silver tray that I got from Goodwill. I put 2 coats of the dipping paint around the edge, but I'm not going to choose which color, which pigment to put on here yet until we get the inlay done. I probably will go around the decorative edge with either silver or gold rub and buff, or I may use some other kind of metallic color to set it off. I'm just not totally sure yet how it's gonna all play out. Let me show you the paint inlays that I'm going to be doing this afternoon, what they look like. The wind is blowing so much here, it's taking everything away from me. So this is one of the paint inlays that I got from, let me turn it over, from Mara. It has 6 sheets in here. No, 8 12 by 16 sheets. And they are absolutely gorgeous. Each one of them is different. I did have, let me see if I can find the sheet that goes on the back. So I agreed to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And she said she did, but clearly she did not. Okay, here's the back cardboard piece. Bringing out a sheet of it too. So these are the 6 or 8 rather sheets that are in here. It's Christmassy. It's got reindeer on it, but not in your typical Christmas colors. This one is number all it says is lot number 17949. It's by Iron Orchid Designs. It's called Chateau. That's what it's called, Chateau. And I was going to use a piece of that, but then I decided instead to use a piece of this one. Very oriental looking, black and white. And this one, I don't know what it's from. We've got some other stuff in here with it, so I don't know the name.
Can we tell everybody the big clue?
Yes, please. But you can get these from vintageretailtherapy.com. It's an IOD paint inlay. So what I'm going to be doing is black and white, but I want this dipping paint. I want to go over it with one of the colors that I showed you. So let's talk about inlay. I have never done this. I'm going to look through my notes that I took when I was at Mara's that day and tell you what she said, because it seems very simple. She said, unlike transfers where you rub the design on a substrate, inlay needs to go into wet paint. So you can put any paint down, but the paint needs to stay wet. Once you get the paint down, and she said you may have to paint 2 coats if your surface has very absorbable material and it takes in a lot of the paint the first time, so you don't get good coverage. She said clay paint is great to use. Design DIY paint she carries, and that's a clay based paint. Also, when you open the top of the paints that she uses, you know how sometimes even on these paints, the chalk paints, when you take the top off, they have what she calls crusties around the rim up here. Well, she scrapes those off of the DIY, Design DIY paint and hangs on to them, and she uses those in some of her art. So she doesn't really get rid of anything. Do I have a snake bug on my hair? Do you still have it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Then, once you have your wet paint down, and I'm just going to use a white acrylic today and hope it doesn't dry too quickly because it is very windy. See if you can get that back on, please. Then you take your inlay sheet. This is the one I cut out that I'm going to use.
You said earlier to use any paint, any acrylic paint, or any
I think any
oils,
acrylic paint.
anything?
I don't know.
Any acrylic?
So you're going to take this and lay it face down in the wet paint. And you're just going to tap it lightly to make sure that it's down very well and smooth. Then you're going to take a spray bottle of water and you're going to spray it thoroughly. And when you do, you'll see the image come through a lot darker on this side. Then you let it dry, preferably naturally, which I'm going to do, and then I'll come back on when I get ready to take it off. When you're ready to remove it, you spray it again with water. And when you do that, then you gently pull your inlay paper up and the pattern will be left in the tray. What's also awesome is that this same pattern can be used a second time and a third time if you want something very vintagey looking. Another thing she said you could do is once you get this laid down, you could take a paintbrush with water on it and kind of blur some of the edges of your inlay if you want to give it a different look. Then she said you cannot move it around if it's sealed, so make sure that you have it right where you want it when you lay it down to wet it. And then once you seal this with the top coat, it's not going to go anywhere, okay? So let me make sure this is a nothing right now. Spray, okay. I'm going to stream on the spray, okay. So here we go. Let me tilt you down. Ronnie, you'll be on command. Maybe back a little bit. So, I'm going to shake that my white. It's just titanium white, snow titanium white acrylic. And I'm going to work very quickly to get this down. Sponge brush might be best. Be careful around the edges. Okay, so let's just put some paint in here. Start spreading it around. Y'all, I'm getting nervous because you know I've never done this. So maybe it will work. Maybe it won't. Who knows? I'm hoping it will. Can you give me a brush to spread this around with toward the edge? And maybe put that in water. Some more paint, so I'll have plenty and it'll be wet. You don't want it globbed up in big piles. You just want a nice even coat, even as you can possibly get it, on your substrate or your surface. And here's the thing, if I go over this black area with any of this white, then before I get ready to put the pigment on the edge, I can just go back and paint some more of the black. The black dried really quickly out here. I don't know how it does in the house, but it dried quickly around here. So I'm trying to get right up on the edge, because I actually cut mine out to fit. I don't think when I was at Mara's she did that. I think she just used like a big substrate and put hers on, and so she didn't have to cut it. But I'm going to only cut mine to size, and I don't know if that was smart or not. Just spread this around. Give you this back. Okay. So this paint is wet. that. Try to get some right here on this edge. Okay. Paint is wet. Let me turn it the right way. I'm going to lay it down, move it around as I need to. I want to make sure that bird is on there. Pat. I didn't quite get it even. I guess that's okay. Let's see if I can still pull it up, which I think is what she said was good. But you can still move it and kind of push your wrinkles out. And you know we don't worry too much about wrinkles in the crafting world.
The main thing is to get it to touch the wet paint.
Rodney's over here telling me how to do it.
It's like putting the
You
little
would think
tattoo.
he knows how to
You know how
do
the
it.
little kid tattoos go on? It's stick in there. It's very similar to putting little temporary tattoos where you put the water on the outside of it.
Okay. I think I have it down well. Now I think she said you could use a brayer if you want to make sure it's down well, but see, now it's down. Now I'm going to take the water, and I'm actually going to hold this up so the spray will come out well. Can y'all see? Let me turn it a little bit. There you go. Okay. So watch what happens to the pattern when I spray it. See how it comes out? It's not, it does have some wrinkles in it, so it's not
So do you
totally
push it down anymore
flat.
after that or not?
No, you leave it alone. Now, it shouldn't take a long time to dry out. How did I get that white paint on there? You must have white paint on there. Can you give me a napkin or something that doesn't have white paint on it? Yeah, I'll have to go back over that black part later. But I'm gonna try to push these wrinkles down a little bit. Most of the places that wrinkled up though doesn't even have a pattern under it. So some of it down here does, but I don't think it's really gonna matter a lot, because when you look at this pattern anyway, it's very like sketchy. See how clear it came after we sprayed the water on it?
How long do you wait?
Until it dries. Wait till it dries. Who's on? Just you and me. And then I need a brush. And then you spray it again with water. And after you do that, then you start peeling it off. Just trying to get some of this white paint off here, but I don't think that's going to work. Maybe I'll touch it up while it's drying. Maybe I'll touch it up with some of this black. So now I need your input into what color the King Blue. Oh my gosh. I always make such a mess. To go around this black part, do we want King Blue? Do we want brass? Or do we want ruby to go on top of the black? What do y'all think? What do you think, Rodney?
Ruby.
That ruby is so gorgeous. I think it's going to be so pretty on stuff for Christmas. So we may just try ruby. You know, we never know if we're going to like something until we try it. And we might try and fail at it the first few times, and that's okay too. That's how we learn. It's like a kid learning to ride a bike. Okay, hope y'all are having beautiful weather like we are. It couldn't be any prettier here. It's probably about 74 or 5, but there's such a nice breeze blowing. Okay. And if we do the ruby, then I could still do gold or brass or silver around this decorative edge right here. Could do the rubbin buff, or I'll figure out something to do, and then I'll have to put a piece of bling in. This isn't touching at all. I'll have to put a piece of bling in here somewhere, or 2 or 10. Pushing it down a little more, so hopefully it'll stick. And I could get the heat gun and dry it, but Mira said it's really better if you can let it dry on its own. So she used a heat gun when we were there just to speed the process up for us. But I think I'm gonna sign off and come back in a little bit. And let's say, what do you think, Rodney? 20 minutes?
Get it to dry.
15 minutes?
It'll probably be dry as out here. It'll probably dry in about another 10-15 minutes.
Okay, so it's 3:51. Let's say we'll come back at 4:15 Central Standard Time. So that'll give us 25 minutes, clean up some of my mess, and then we'll come back and wet it and pull it off and see what we got. Talk to you guys later. Bye.